Hello, and welcome back to my climb to Masters. Just a short summary on how this works. Every day I am playing 3 games and I started in Gold 4. I am maining Bel'Veth Jungle and the goal is to hit Masters by the end of the year. We ended on day 6 with a elo of Plat 4 45 LP with a total of 13 wins and 5 losses and a win rate of 72%. In the last video, we learned that Plat is a shithole of ego and it's going to be a lot harder to climb out of here than Gold. But the next 3 days weren't that bad compared to the last 3 days, but I have made some discoveries that made these 3 days more productive than I thought. The 7th day, we had 1 win and 2 losses. We won't talk about the win, but the first loss was something else. So I learned that I really need to think about matchups more and 2v2 skirmishes. I gave up First Blood so stupidly in this game. Volibear, Vigar versus Bel'Veth, Ahri. I also won't leave you in the dark about what the HP bars look like and the positioning as well. So, who wins? This is obviously losing for me, but I was too focused on helping that I'm not realizing that Volibear is an early game stomper and he will win this for sure. Also, my Ahri is out, which is great. The one thing I hated more was that since I started Raptors, my Raptors were up and Volibear was able to take them, but now his Raptors are not up and I was waiting for them, but the way he cleared was red, Krugs, Raptors, which gave me no option to trade camps and I was so frustrated at this point in the game, but if I saw that the gank mid was not going to work, I could have still gotten his Krugs even though I would still be waiting for almost another 10 seconds just for them to spawn. I don't know if it is optimal either, but in the future I am going to think about how junglers cleared, and if he does this again, I will sit by the Krugs and hopefully at least trade 1 camp. There wasn't really much I learned from this game. My team wasn't playing together at all, so we gave up almost all objectives, but it did give me the opportunity to know when to cross-map more, and I executed it with no trouble. The next game I did pretty well, but the problem was, again, my teammates were not playing together. Not only that, every lane was basically even, and towards the mid game there was a lot of bad deaths going around and too much aggressive positioning that ended up making us lose the game, but I did learn one thing that was quite useful, which was how I gank. This gank mid was pretty good, but I have one issue with it, and it is this dash that I used that did absolutely nothing for us. I need to recognize that this Malzahar wants to get to tower, and I am there to block him, so pushing this dash forward is troll because not only did I get no damage on him, but I also gave him more time to get to his tower. So in the future I will try to recognize this better and not dash into the enemy unless 1, I get some damage, and 2, it doesn't stop me from cutting him off. This was the only thing I could find that I could have improved on. So at the end of the day 7, we ended at Plat 459 LP, not a big gain, but hey, a gain is a gain. Day 8 was a little better. We had 2 wins and 1 loss. This is the first time I actually had Bel'Veth get banned, and I picked Lilia for this game. I was pretty lucky with this pick as well. If you don't know, Lilia is really good against a heavy melee comp or low range comp, as her movement speed allows her to usually kite out a lot of melee champions and slow them with Rylai's Crystal Scepter. This is the game where I realized that supports are pretty impactful, and this Nautilus was smurfing a lot of fights with his CC and picking power, but let's move on to the loss. If you take a look into this game and my day 9 games, you're going to start seeing a trend, and I will reveal it once the time comes, but if you spot it already, that means you got some good understanding of gold generators. But anyways, this loss was pretty brutal, and honestly I have nothing to say about it. Top didn't do well, mid didn't do well, and bot was quite even, but they never had a chance to do anything. We'll go over why this game is so bad because the next day we'll shed a little more light on it, but by the end of the day I was promoted to Plat 3 with 30 LP. My win rate is starting to slowly settle, but we still have an overall high win rate, so I am not too worried about getting out of Plat. I think Emerald and Low Diamond is when I will have the most trouble, and probably where I won't move a lot because LP gains will start to get lower and lower. Day 9 we have 2 wins and 1 loss again, and tell me if you see the trend of what has happened over the course of these 3 days. If you said CS, you are completely right. I noticed I started going for more ganks as I am getting higher. Honestly, I see this as pretty bad. I want to hover around 7 to 8 CS per minute as a jungler, as that means my guaranteed gold is not suffering from the terrible ganks and plays I am making. These 3 games are when I made a big realization on what I am doing wrong. I am not red trinketing at all, and supports are so freaking OP. I am noticing that supports are getting better, and the vision that they get and the positioning that they are doing are really screwing me up. In the lower elos, I never had to worry about support, but as I am getting higher, supports are roaming more and showing up to places that I am not expecting. Let me just show you a few instances of what I mean. First, my red trinket usage. I really need to start using it more. Rengar took my raptors, and after that he went for a top gank and then back to go do his standard clear. So I tried to sneak his raptors in my clear, but this ward spotted me and I got killed for it. If I just sweeped, I would have known that they knew where I was and just backed off, but I didn't and I got killed for it. This Rengar game also taught me that I really need to stay safer when the enemy jungler is ahead like this, as multiple times after a fight was finished, he would find me in my jungle and I would die because of it. Also, when I go back into my jungle after a play on mid, I should really sweep my jungle, as usually the support will come into my jungle and start warding after a play. Thankfully, my cross mapping has gotten a lot better in the past 3 days, and you can see I am executing it pretty confidently and doing a great job recognizing when I can do it. Here is an example on how supports are becoming a bigger nuisance to me. Leona recognizes that the wave is now pushed in and she can roam. She wards and hits the plant to spot me in my jungle. My thought process with that Kayn started on the red side, as that is usually how he clears, but instead he chose to clear down and match me. This got me killed as Leona caught me off guard and Kayn was soon to follow. This made me think about the first minutes in the game and what I should do for warding now. I really want to get a deep ward to at least spot the jungler so I know how he is pathing. This will help me a lot in info, so this play that Leona did would never work, as I would recognize that Leona Kayn was going to collapse on me. But you live and you learn, so now I know. This game even gave me more cross-mapping practice, which I enjoyed. But anyways, one thing I want to talk about is that this game had 2 of the same players each time, and if you come across these players, you should mute their pings and chat immediately. They make mistakes and they believe it's your job to cover those mistakes like a trained dog. Multiple times in both games, the mid laner would push into the enemy tower, go for a roam, not make it back in time, and ping me because I didn't cover his lane. Muted him immediately. These 2 players also like to point out that I didn't give a gank, but they probably don't play jungle and don't know why I didn't. Simply, there was no opportunity for one. Multiple times I would be on a side of the map and both the lanes would be pushed in or start pushing into the enemy without any signs of coming back into us. So I am going to stay in my jungle and farm my guaranteed gold like a good boy. I am not going to mess up my tempo because you feel like you deserve a gank that doesn't guarantee a kill. But hey, it's plat. It's gonna be like this. These players don't understand that if they want a gank, you need to set me up for one by either A, let the wave push into you, or B, get the laner low enough where the positioning of the wave doesn't matter and maybe we can even dive. For all of you League players out there, please don't blame your jungler for not ganking. You are probably doing something wrong that makes it impossible for them to do one, or you don't realize that the ganks need to be guaranteed. Obviously, this all has to do with what the jungler thinks is right for them, so stop pinging him and reflect on yourself before you berate other players. I want to talk about the one thing in this last game which shows that I improved a bit with how I gank. Rather than dashing towards this Victor, I waited until he got close to me or used his skills so I could get some damage off of him and also put him in a sour spot by staying on him. An immediate improvement compared to the gank I did on that Malzahar. But anyways, by the end of the 9th day, we are a plat 390 LP with 18 wins and 9 losses with a win rate of 67%. I still have a pretty high win rate, so overall I am very happy with how this is going. Let me just explain that anything above a 60% win rate is really good. You're expected to be at a 50% win rate at the end of the season, but if you have anything higher, that means you are doing really well. Honestly, anything above a 55% is still good. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I am offering free coaching VOD reviews, so if you would like one, please go into the description of this video and add me on Discord so we can get one set up for you. Hopefully your climbs are going well, and if you have any comments about my gameplay, I would love to hear your thoughts. Good luck and take care.